Hey guys, this is Luke from Make Masking Optional. I'm here with Chad Nelson, Zone 4 trustee candidate for Billings Public Schools. You're not going to want to miss this interview. We're going to switch gears and talk about budget a little bit. Could you just tell us what your experience has been with maintaining a budget, either in personal or business life? Or maybe a board you've served on, if you've served on any boards, just how the budget process
Have you ever
experience, yeah.
Have you ever had to maintain a budget?
Yeah, I've had jobs since I was in fifth grade. I had 2 jobs in fifth grade. My dad made me buy my own toothpaste. So my
You still got your teeth.
Yeah, right.
Must have bought it.
He did make me my own dental bills. So yeah, I mean, but I am not. I feel like for as hard as I work, as many years as I worked, I should be driving a lot nicer car. I shouldn't have to wear the same hat all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Same hat in the photo.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's my uniform. It's my so I think there's definitely people out there that, they went to school for this. Right.
Yeah.
And stuff, but you can't tell me looking at our current budgeting that's been showing up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think a person that really understood finances wouldn't have anything to do with this because they're making money millions out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't. One of the things everybody wants to. I think Benjamin Franklin, it said that the system works until people figure out they can vote themselves free money.
Right.
Well, we're there. Right. You can't keep throwing money at this. I mean, even now they just released where the first 24 million of the $54 million went. Well, I thought it was supposed to be putting new ventilation systems in our schools and making new additions to the schools so you could socially distance kids and you could make sure the air was purified. And then, the lead in the water and all these things. I thought it was for that. Well, I don't see that on there. Right?
But when you listen to the superintendent explain it, he keeps bringing that up. But yet when you look at where the dollars go, it doesn't seem to ever make it on the pie chart. So
right, I don't see how. I mean, if I have a company and my CEO, somehow makes us an extra $50 million, he gets a raise.
Right.
But you didn't create anything here.
Yeah.
Right. All you did is took tax dollars. Right. There's nothing created.
Yeah.
Right. The numbers don't show an improvement,
Yep.
And stuff. I don't see that stuff happening.
Yeah.
Right. At some point, the wheels come off and you have to go back to the basics of it. And when that happens, okay, what was this originally designed to do? Okay, parents needed help teaching the kids math.
Yeah. Parents
needed help teaching the kids to read and write. Parents needed help teaching the kids, history. Parents needed help teaching the kids, the scientific method.
Yep.
Right. The method says you test it, throw it out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to be repeatable. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think at some point, you have to go back to that. And I don't want to see music cut, and I don't want to see art cut, and I don't want to see football cut. I like those things. Mm-hmm. But if you really had to spend your money, right, you have to go to what it's for, what it was originally intended.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's going to happen in our lifetime, where it's going to get that. But yeah, at some point, it has to start shifting that way.
Good.
Okay.
All right, we're going to shift gears again. We're going to talk about COVID, the last 2 years of our life. And if you were a board member during the past 2 years, would you have voted against the mask mandates for the school children?
I think it's pretty clear. I would have. I think it was breaking the law. You can't. It's the parental right to do that. You look at a speed limit sign and you go down and everybody resents the speed limit sign.
Yeah.
Right. And they have limited space and a little bit of time to catch your eye. Right. So you have this threat of this. But if you were actually given the information of, hey, please go speed 55. We've learned that on this stretch of road, the deaths are this much higher. It's a suggestion. Right. We're not forcing you. Right. When they force you to do something, people resent it. At least I do. Right. But if you make some guidance and, like a parent that sits there and dictates, that kid gets excited to leave home.
Yep.
But if you say, hey, here's my experience, in my house, we're not doing this, but here's why, it's a little bit better. So, no, I absolutely wouldn't. I would have voted against it. I would have tried to be understanding of the parents that did believe in it and wanted it. But what was really odd is these people, the parents. I was really proud of the parents that were there speaking because they were passionate and they were upset and they had their arguments. Never once did I hear someone be an absolutist.
Right.
It's like, we're not wearing masks and you can't either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard it once, but the other side I heard, force it.
Right. No, I mean, that's,
Oh.
yeah. Make masking optional is the group that I founded.
Mm-hmm.
The word optional is right there. If you want to wear a mask, please wear a mask. Wear 3. I don't care. It's just don't force us or my children on what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would have been against that. I truly think, and I even had some people back me up on it that were higher up. That was like, yeah, he's right. These are infringements. And I was encouraged to take it to Helena and fight it in Helena. And I'm like, I'm not the one breaking the law.
Yeah.
That's going to be 3 or 4 years of my life and my money and my time. And by then the damage is done and they've already walked away with their bonuses. Right. And I said, they're the ones breaking the law. So tell them no.
Yep.
And if they want to fight it in Helena for 3 or 4 years, they can do it.
Right.
That's my, and I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but that's my grief with the board is, and this administration, is they've been operating in a prove we can't model. Prove we can't do this. And so then we try and prove that they can't. And then they say, prove we can't do this. It's like, that's not fostering good relations with the community. When and to your point, they're the ones violating this. Why are we the ones who are forced to prove they can't? Well, because they're operating under that model.
Right.
That's their,
I'm very good at evaluating risk. I mean, and that the scary part is lawsuits.
Right.
Right. And that's what everybody is terrified of.
Yeah.
Is, they were pretty sure that you and I were going to sue, right? Over a mask. Right. And I know there was a lawsuit going on, but it was more of, I think, the violation of our rights and stuff like this. But I mean, but they couldn't, if a kid had, if they absolutely knew, the kid had died because they didn't have one, right? They were terrified of that. And I get it, insurance is bad that way.
Yeah.
Lawyers are bad that way.
Right.
They're trying to go. So I get the fear of it, but I think again, you could have made the law the bad guy.
Yeah.
You could have.
Absolutely.
But that's what happens in football all the time.
With the books, we found all these rights to keep those books in the library. We want to get rid of them. We wish that they didn't have this, obscene material in it. But look at all these rights we found. There's this Bill of Rights and the Library Bill of Rights and the student's right to read. And we found all these rights. But when it comes to medical decisions, they couldn't find any rights anywhere.
Yeah. Well,
they could have.
Then they turned around and called, like in my comment, that I was the anti-constitutionalist and I'm the anti-American. And what?
Right.
No. I mean, I give you guys an out.
Yeah.
Right? This
Yeah.
legal definition, this is child pornography.
Right.
You can't be here. Right. You can't do it. A caller called in. He actually had a great point. He was opposite of me and stuff like that. But he called in and brought up the book It and how that had been, that has a terrible part in it. And it does. Right. And it's in our libraries. How come we're not having to think about this? Well, apparently there had been at one point, and even Stephen King had said, here's an edited version that takes out that part.
My content. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's probably your thing. How come not one person suggested,
Yeah.
Hey,
We can fix this.
the positives of this book, everything you're telling us is positive about it, right? It's not hinged on these 5-6 pages.
Yeah.
So let's get the edited version. Right. And if the author won't approve that, well, then it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me that, and again, it would have taken forever and whatever, but that would have been a wise choice to do it. So, when there's, it very much goes in, I don't know what they're winning. I don't know what you had to gain by that. It was some sort of political correctness. I would have blamed it on the law.
Yep.
I said the law says, this is too dark an area for us to make these decisions.
Yep.
But it clearly falls in this range. We don't want to play ball here.
Yeah.
Right. let someone else go fight this fight. Let the public library fight it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we shift gears? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do.
All right. We're gonna shift to curriculum topics. Do you think that parents have a right to know the curriculum the teachers are teaching?
Yeah, and I'm not sure that we don't already have it. I don't know myself how to go get it. Again, I'm not very savvy computer guy.
Yeah.
And I had always, I've been fortunate that I got to meet the teachers. It's kind of like when you hire a babysitter. I mean, the idea of having the nanny cam is kind of cool. But if you have that doubt, don't hire that babysitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And pay attention to your kid. If you don't trust your mother to watch your daughter, don't have her do it. There's some risk there, sure. But so I kind of think that if we really wanted to dive in, it's there. My parents, my dad, he embarrasses me with how good he was. I mean, I could come home with my college math book, calculus. He's been out of school for however how long. He was a veterinarian, and I'm struggling. He'd sit down and figure it out while he's eating, and because he had the textbook and do it. Well, my daughter is a senior this year, and I've rarely seen a textbook in our house.
Yeah.
Occasionally she'd bring home the history one because she knew I like history. And she'd bring home, hey, Dad, I just thought you'd like to look through this.
Yeah.
And so I'm in there digging for, oh, God, does it say this?
Yeah.
And science books. She knew that she'd bring home some science books and I'd, want to look at that and stuff like that. So there was some of that stuff there. So I think you can get it. I think it's important that we encourage people of how to get it. And again, this whole thing, even running for an office like this, I mean, if one thing I'd like to accomplish in this whole process is if somebody came and asked me, like, how do you do it? I'd like to at least be able to help them a little bit. Say, oh, okay, well, this is what I found. And I, these people help with that. There should be like a handbook. How do you do this? Because it's daunting.
Absolutely.
And asking people for help and asking people for money. That's not something I'm good at, asking for that, which is good for mill levies and stuff. I'm not good at asking for that.
Okay, I'm gonna go to this next one.
Good.
Okay. Here's a tough one, maybe not.
Did I answer the last one okay?
You did.
Yeah.
All right.
What is your position on CRT?
Are you familiar with the CRT?
Do you think it's being taught in the schools? What do you think about it?
Well, I'm a little worried that we've gone so far. I think it's actually in our colleges for a long time. And I think what's happened now is even a lot of our teachers and stuff like that, it's been ingrained so much. And if you're watching TV and you're on there, like it's just they're pounding us. It's just propaganda. I don't understand how people can forget, if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it. I don't know how people don't know that saying, right? You can't pitch out ugly parts of history, right? If the Carthaginians had won, right, in the Punic Wars, right, we would have no Rome, right? But they didn't. And, so we know very little about them because they lost. Right. And if I think Winston Churchill said, he goes, I know what the history books are going to say because I intend to write it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So I think there's definitely, I think you would be really hurting kids if you didn't teach them about how there was slavery in America. But but you're really hurting them if you don't teach them how they turned it around.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you neglect that slavery is still going on, right? I mean, I've heard numbers that slavery is worse now, numbers wise, in the world than it ever has been. Okay, so those things are there, right? But I'm absolutely against. Teaching anybody that they're worse, right? That I think one of the questions to the new SCOTUS nominee was, do you think babies are racist?
That was a question that was asked,
and she couldn't answer it. Like, no, they're not, right? They're not, and so it shouldn't be a different question. And I don't, I was very lucky, I guess, because I, for the most part, lived in Montana and had very little exposure to everything else. But, my parents did a good job of, I pretty much treat people like however you treat me, the
Yeah.
And that's where I go with it. I mean, somebody might say, "Oh, that person's terrible," but well, my experience with them has been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm very wary of that. I do think they're smart enough now with what's coming down that we're not going to see it as critical race theory. We're going to see it as equity.
Rebranded.
I believe in equal opportunity. I don't believe in equal results.
Equal outcomes are impossible. You can have same people in the same household, almost exactly the same scenario, and they won't have the same result. Right?
I mean,
but they should have the same opportunity.
But if we consistently see a problem, right? Okay, so should we fix that? Like if I have two kids and one of them is just great at everything and the other one's struggling, I need to figure out a way to give that kid an opportunity to find what they excel at. I'm totally agree with that. But again, that takes parent involvement.
But you can't guarantee equitable outcomes.
Yep. And I don't believe throwing more money at things fixes anything.
Right.
We haven't seen it anywhere. You know?
Do you think that racism still exists in Montana and Billings in 2022?
Probably. I don't think if somebody said there's inherent racism, well, you show me where it is, I'll stand with you against it. All right. I don't think I don't know of any system that's automatically racist. I do think, I think people have, I think there's things that their life experiences, they're going to shy away from this or that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I'm not into, again, I don't want that taught in my math. It doesn't apply. Right. Math should be the equalizer.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't lie. Right. Statistics do. Right. Math doesn't. 2 plus 2 equals 4. I don't care what 1984, 2 plus 2 equals 5, and they're forcing that on you. No. Right. It doesn't.
Chad, it's been a pleasure to have you come down and visit with us tonight. Where can people find out more about your campaign and how they can help you out?
Well, hopefully I'll get out there and do some legwork and people start hearing that way. My website is long and terrible. Chad, 4 schools.wixsite. That's WIXSITE.com/Go Nelson. So hopefully you think that's funny. But so that site has it. It's not like I'm super active and posting up stuff on there, but you can look into it that way. I do have a Facebook page, Chad 4 Schools. You can find it that way. My email, chad4schools@gmail.com. I've really enjoyed having people that have been reaching out. I hope that people feel like I've been responsive, and I enjoy calling them. I enjoy talking to them, hearing what's going on. People have been pretty awesome, pretty supportive. Makes me feel good for making the decision. So, please hit it up.
Well, you guys heard it tonight. Chad Nelson, candidate for Zone 4 for Billings Public Schools Board of Trustees. The elections are coming up May 3rd. You're going to receive your ballots if you're registered to vote in mid-April. They're going to go out via mail. So make sure when you get that ballot that you check Chad Nelson's name. You can go to makemaskinoptional.com and /school board and get some more information about the candidates, find out what district you are in, what zone you're in. But tonight, I hope that we made the compelling case for you. Chad Nelson, he's a friend of public education. He's pro-education. He's pro-parent. He's pro-student. He's pro-teacher. He is basically pro-educational rights, parents' rights, and he doesn't want to micromanage and control the classroom. He just wants everyone to get a good quality education, and I think he'd be a fantastic addition to the school board, and I hope you think that too. So thanks for your time, Chad.
Yeah, thank you.